with the issue of international borders and a bit more detail as to the timeline on when we can expect migrants, for example.
Indeed, Kieran. So the international borders to open and immigration to restart on December 1 for some. You have to be a vaccinated visa holder to get in. What the PM is proposing is granting 50,839 economic visas, 162,000 student visas, about 12,000 humanitarian visas, and the family mix in there, 4,000. So 4,000 compared to 50,000 for economic. When you saw a Sunday Telegraph story yesterday highlighting the labour shortage by reporting that Sydney restaurants were having to pay Saturday night dishwashers $90 an hour, you can see why they're keen to get immigration going again and get some international students in. So the next stage of the border opening, at a date to be determined, will be tourists. 1 million visitor visas. Scott Morrison saying that Australians like these things opened up gradually. We have heard Scott Morrison talking a lot lately about opening up, about Australians having a gutful of being told what to do. Now, there was a term the former New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian used consistently when it came to keeping some things open at the beginning of the June and July lockdowns in Sydney: keep safely open. This was a term, as I reported at the time, directly from the Liberals' polling firm Crosby Textor out of focus groups. And you can hear the PM say it several times here today: safely open, open safely.
Our national plan, which I brought to the premiers and chief ministers back in June, was about opening safely so we can remain safely open. I think Australians are very keen to see us take this step-by-step approach. They've been through a lot and they've sacrificed a lot to ensure that we can open safely so we can stay safely open.
Safely open, my prediction is you'll be hearing it a lot on the way to next year's election. The fact is, when it came to the international border opening, one state premier, Dominic Perrottet, actually wanted to be less cautious and let vaccinated foreigners in from November 1. I put to the PM here, has he really been the great advocate for freedom he has made out in recent times? He says these things are not binary. You've said that people have had a gutful of governments telling them what to do. Can you point to a single lockdown which you didn't endorse, first of all? And second of all, why didn't you move on opening up to fully vaccinated visa holders a month ago when the New South Wales government wanted you to, or were happy to take people?
Well, don't confuse the issues, Andrew. Our government has had to make decisions that has had to reach into people's lives, and that was very necessary. We're in the midst of that pandemic. I'm not speaking against those decisions whatsoever. See, what we've done as a government is we haven't been driven by ideology. We've been driven by the practical situation that the nation has faced. And our government had no greater like of doing those things than Australians like them having been done. So you've got to deal with the situation as you find it. And the situation when you have a pandemic raging through and people's lives are at risk, well, you have to take decisions to protect those lives. You know, as the circumstances change, then it's time for us to move back, which is what the national plan was designed to do. So I just don't buy this binary proposition that somehow you're either for or against this at all points in the cycle. Times change over that, circumstances change, and governments that are interested in balanced, practical, sensible decisions will make them in the moment with the circumstances they have to face. Since I became Prime Minister, I've always made it clear there are those who are going to drag me over here and there are those who want to drag me over there. I know where Australians are. They're not out in those extremes, the vast majority of them. They're looking for people just to make sensible decisions, weighing up all the best evidence and make sure we stay right there in the middle where we're able to ensure that we can keep Australians safe, we've saved lives and we've saved livelihoods. And I think that's what they expect of a Prime Minister and government, not to be distracted and dragged from one side of a binary debate to the other. I don't see it in those terms.